guys, welcome back. Today we're doing another build in our Let's Talk About It series. This is actually going to be a multiple-parter, probably 3 or 4, I don't know. This is a very large building, and I don't typically build large buildings, but if we're making a kingdom, we do need a castle, and as far as castles go, this is a smaller one that I felt comfortable taking a bite out of. So this castle was actually excavated in 1961 to 1962 by the, I believe, Ethiopian Institute of Archaeology. And it's in Agilis, and it's just described as the King's Palace. I actually found a really good resource with floor plans and such. And I've done my best to recreate it within the limitations of Sims 2. Now, this kind of complex does appear to have been built in 2 stages. There was one part and then a much later addition, but they kind of seem put together. I did run into issues where obviously the second building was slightly off alignment. You can't do that in Sims 2, so I just made them all in the same alignment. And there was also some really thick walls, like very thick, so in some cases, rather than have little tiny 2x2 rooms, I did choose to kind of make one larger space, but that's just for practicality. And yeah, I'm still experimenting with what I like best in terms of limited CC, but still keeping it correct. When I actually put the full neighborhood together, they will be more consistent and matchy, but I'm just trying things out. Because this is the test neighborhood we are testing. That's right, Yogi. Another problem that I'm running into with these more and more is their stairs. They were not ADA compliant. Let's just say that. Like, these were some very, very, very steep stairs. And trying to recreate that in The Sims 2 is nigh impossible. So I did have to make some executive decisions about the way stairs were going to face. And I'm happy with the result, but like, they are facing different ways than they should be. I don't even know how I'm going to decorate this place, because while we have a very detailed floor plan, we don't actually know what any of these rooms were. There is also the fact that all of the rooms on the first floor are technically, it's not a living floor, and there's no windows. So I have to decide when I'm decorating if I want to put in like maybe some higher windows, or if I'm really gonna go no windows. I want to think about it more. I did also put a perimeter wall around the whole thing, because I do think it's going to be near the obelisk park. That would make sense. The obelisks are supposed to be there to commemorate royal graves. They would want to be near that site as a show of royal power. I also think that in the final neighborhood it will still be by the courthouse, because again, that's where criminals were judged and executed. Basically by the ground, so I was like, alright. It's definitely a different way to build things, that it's only similar when you get inside, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is very similar to most castles. But like the exterior is just so different. You can see I was toying with these stairs because they were really steep, but I wanted to, again, limit CC, so I actually chose the Twiki Island stairs that are like the Aztec or Maya or whatever they pulled from stairs. I do not use that as the wallpaper, but like, it is consistent with the obelisks. It's a little nod. I do wish they matched, but I'm trying to decide if it bothers me enough to recolor them. Honestly, I'm more bothered by the fact that there is a perfect wallpaper for all of these builds, but it doesn't tile on top of itself well, so like the second floor, there is a very clear line of demarcation. And I don't love that. So if I'm gonna do anything, it would be that. It looks so good though. I'm also deeply upset that like my hyperfixation has reached the point where I'm like, can I just go here? Can I go to Axum City in Ethiopia? Is that cool? And the travel advisory board said, no, you may not. So, and I get that it's probably cautious, but like, the Travel Advisory Board is also very right about the United States right now, so like, I'm gonna listen to it. But who knows, maybe someday, because I would just love to go see it. I think that it is amazing that these buildings are still there. And it's so incredible that we just don't really know. Like, I finally found 3 books, one of which is in French, and is not really about Axum at all. So I'm kind of picking through them. One of them is by more of a Roman historian, but it is called Throne of Agilus, so that's coming. And then George Hotkey wrote a book called Axum and Nubia, which is warfare, commerce, and political fictions in ancient Northeast Africa. That is coming. The French one, I'm not even going to try the title, but Iwana Gajda? Gajda is what I'm going to go with. That's the one that's in French. There are portions of it that have been translated, just not the whole thing. But it's also not specifically about just Axum. I've been watching documentaries. I've been having a grand old time. I thought the Ark of the Covenant was like a Noah's Ark situation. I was not raised religious. My partner did have a little laugh. A friendly laugh, but like, when I was like, wait a minute, it's a box? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, but like a box? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, it's not a boat? Just cackling. But like, that's what I thought. But apparently it's a box, and apparently it is in Axum City, although nobody is allowed to see it. It is guarded by a warrior monk who, once he does what he needs to do, basically is sworn to never leave the grounds again. And I watched a documentary on it. It was interesting. So you got, you know, white English men going, oh, come on, if it was there, like, it's not that hard to get past that guy. And I'm like, yeah, but I would say very Western societies have an almost irreverent attitude towards historical religious items that we don't necessarily see in other cultures, and Ethiopia is one of those. Like, they have a replica of the Ark of the Covenant in all of their churches, and like, it's a big deal. So yeah, one dude guarding it does seem like enough, because there's also the entire society, of which it's not a big place, but there's people there, and you best believe, if you're trying to break into there, they are going to stop you. Like, it's just such an interesting, funny perspective for someone to go, well, I could just march right in there and take it. I'm like, did you try? Because something tells me you're not trying, because you are scared. For good reason. Like, we just don't have that mentality of things are sacred, must be protected, no, you are not going to carbon date it kind of vibe. But yeah, that's not really the thing that I want to see, but I'm getting desperate for information, and there was a documentary on the Ark of the Covenant, so yeah, watch that. You can see I'm kind of putting this exterior wall. I think I'm going to put some, like, gardens, because this is meant to be more lush than it currently is. It's, again, information's difficult to find, but it did seem more jungly than deserty. So I do want to kind of add that greenery in, especially in an area where people are living, and especially for a royal court. We need greenery. We need trees. I'm reaching the point also where I'm thinking about commissioning somebody to make me a frankincense tree, because it's so important, not just for, like, this particular area, but everywhere. Like, frankincense was a big deal. And I just need one of those trees. I would love if it was functional and did the little resin and worked with the sun and moon sets, but I will be more than happy to take a decorative version. Because I need one. Oh god, here's me panicking over windows, because in the drawings they're empty windows, but it's not necessarily because there was nothing there, it's because the archaeologists didn't find any sort of window, so they were just drawing open squares to denote that. There was an opening, but they don't know what was in it. I decided to go with these. I do think that there's some sort of glass, but it's not like obvious, so I think it's okay. But we know that they knew how to work stone very clearly. And there was Roman influence in the area, maybe not these type of arches, but I can kind of justify it to myself. I'm still not finding anything on, like, furniture. Even with the grave goods, like, it wasn't like Egypt where they had their whole house in a pyramid. Like, there just isn't a lot of information, so I might have to lean into the other empires of the 3rd and 4th century and just kind of decorate from there. I think I'm just going to create a style and decorate the whole neighborhood that way, and it'll be a blend of a couple different things. It's whatever I find the most information on, basically, because it's really hard. And I'm finding information on, like, important figures, but, like, regular people, forget about it. They're like, oh, they were in huts. I'm like, okay, but, like, did they have special tools that were only in this area? Were they really relying on the Roman trade to get them through? There was gold, but how were they mining it? What were they doing? I need to know. But yeah, that's part 1. So thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a like. It really does help. If you have any Axum information, would love to hear it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.